You've stopped at thousands of traffic lights. You've seen countless firefighters wearing gas masks. But you've probably never heard the name of the man who invented both. A man they called the Black Edison. A man who saved lives, changed the world, and was nearly erased from history. His name was Garrett Morgan, and this is his story of genius denied, heroism ignored, and a legacy that refused to stay buried. March 4th, 1877, Paris, Kentucky. In a world still reeling from the Civil War, Garrett Augustus Morgan is born to formerly enslaved parents. With only an elementary school education, he possesses something that can't be taught, an unquenchable thirst to understand how things work. At just 14, Garrett leaves everything behind, crossing the Ohio River to Cincinnati in search of opportunity. He finds work as a handyman, but his mind is already racing ahead. He teaches himself about sewing machines, becoming an expert repairman. 1895, Cleveland, Ohio. 18-year-old Garrett Morgan arrives with nothing but ambition. He lands a job sweeping floors at a sewing machine factory, but he doesn't stay on the floor long. He absorbs everything, masters the machinery, and in 1901 sells his first invention, a belt fastener for sewing machines, for $50. It's the beginning of an empire. By 1907, Morgan opens his own sewing machine repair shop. By 1909, he's running a massive tailoring operation employing 32 people. He marries Mary Hassick, a Bavarian woman whose family disowns her for marrying a black man. But Mary believes in Garrett's vision, and together they build something extraordinary. Then comes an accidental discovery that changes everything. While working on a solution for burnt wool cloth, Morgan stumbles upon a formula that straightens hair. The G.A. Morgan Hair Refining Company is born, providing the financial freedom to pursue his real passion, invention. 1911. The Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire kills 146 workers in New York City. Most died not from the flames, but from smoke inhalation. Garrett Morgan sees the tragedy and envisions a solution that could save thousands of lives.
Morgan develops a filtration system using cotton and fabrics soaked in cold water, removing much of the heat from the air as it enters his mask. Then he has a moment of unexpected inspiration at a circus.
Apparently, it was a scorchingly hot day, and they were sitting under the big tent. When the elephants were performing, he noticed that periodically they would go and get themselves a breath of fresh air by sticking their trunk through a seam in the top of the tent.
He refashions his breathing hood, attaching two long tubes that reach to the ground.
Morgan's device is simple but genius.
His idea is brilliantly simple. Hot smoke rises, leaving cleaner air near the ground. Morgan designs a hood with tubes that reach down to the floor level, filtering air through water-soaked sponges. In 1912, he files for a patent. In 1914, he founds the National Safety Device Company to manufacture his safety hood. But there's one problem. He's black. And in 1914 America, that's a deal breaker. Morgan devises an ingenious plan. He creates an alter ego, Big Chief Mason, a supposedly full-blooded Native American from Canada. His white friend, Charles Salin, poses as the inventor, while Morgan, disguised as an assistant, demonstrates the device. Picture this: a canvas tent filled with burning tar, sulfur, formaldehyde, and manure. Smoke so thick that searchlights penetrate only 3 feet. Big Chief Mason enters the tent and stays for 20 minutes, emerging unharmed. The crowd is amazed. Orders pour in. New York's fire department adopts it. 500 cities follow suit. The U.S. Navy orders them for submarines. At the Second International Exposition of Safety and Sanitation, Morgan wins grand prize. His invention will save American soldiers' lives in World War I. Everything is perfect until July 24th, 1916. 3 a.m., July 25th, 1916. The phone rings at Garrett Morgan's home on Harlem Avenue. Cleveland's new waterworks tunnel, 4 miles under Lake Erie, has exploded. Workers are trapped. Natural gas is filling the tunnel like a tomb. The first rescue team descends. Led by Assistant Superintendent John Johnston, 7 brave men enter the tunnel. Within 132 feet, 5 collapse from toxic fumes. Only Johnston and 1 other make it out alive. Superintendent Gus Van Duzen leads the second attempt. 9 more men descend into hell. Van Duzen shouts for his men to run before he too collapses. 10 rescuers are now dead. That's when Cleveland police officer John Chafin remembers Morgan's safety hood demonstration. At 3 a.m., still in his pajamas and barefoot, Garrett Morgan loads his car with 20 safety hoods and races to the scene. What happens next defies belief. Morgan, his brother Frank, and 2 volunteers strap on the safety hoods and descend into the gas-filled tunnel. 4 separate trips into a toxic nightmare. They save Van Duzen, barely alive, face down in the mud. They save another worker. They retrieve 4 bodies, giving families closure. Garrett Morgan emerges a hero. National headlines praise the rescue. Orders for his safety hood flood in from across the country. The newspapers publish his photograph. America sees the face of their hero. And many don't like what they see. Orders cancel overnight. The South learns their savior is black, and racist fire departments reject his life-saving device. The man who risked his life to save others watches his business crumble because of the color of his skin. But the cruelest blow comes from the city he saved. The Carnegie Hero Fund awards medals to white rescuers, but ignores Morgan. Official reports barely mention his name. The hero becomes invisible, his contribution erased from history. 1920. Cleveland's streets are chaos. Automobiles battle horse-drawn carriages for space. Accidents are epidemic. Death is common. And Garrett Morgan, now one of the first black men in Cleveland to own a car, witnesses something that changes everything. The collision is gruesome. An automobile smashing into a horse-drawn car. As Morgan surveys the wreckage, his inventor's mind sees a solution. What if traffic could be stopped in all directions, clearing intersections completely. His design is revolutionary. Not just stop and go, but a third position, a warning that clears the intersection before traffic resumes. For the first time in history, pedestrians can cross safely. It's the birth of the yellow light. Morgan tests his invention in Willoughby, Ohio, a small town with a busy enough intersection to prove the concept. General Electric takes notice. November 20th, 1923. Patent number 1475024 is granted. General Electric offers $40,000 for the rights, equivalent to $730,000 today. Morgan accepts, knowing that in racist America, few would buy from a black inventor. Morgan's three-position traffic signal spreads across North America, saving countless lives. Yet, few know the name of the man who invented the device that governs every intersection in the world. Success doesn't slow Garrett Morgan down.
So by the 1920s, Garrett started the Cleveland Caller, which became one of the most important African-American newspapers in the nation. A tireless advocate for equality, Garrett also founded the Cleveland Association of Colored Men, which would eventually become part of the NAACP.
In 1920, he founds the Cleveland Call newspaper, giving voice to Cleveland's black community. He becomes a civil rights activist, joining the NAACP and supporting black colleges. He opens an all-black country club when white establishments bar his membership. His motto guides everything. If a man puts something to block your way, the first time you go around it, the second time you go over it, and the third time you go through it. In 1943, glaucoma begins stealing Morgan's vision. The brilliant mind that could see solutions others missed slowly goes dark. But even blind, he continues working, continues fighting, continues inspiring. July 27, 1963. Garrett Morgan dies at age 86. He lives just long enough to see the beginnings of the civil rights movement, the movement his inventions and activism helped make possible. Today, every time you stop at a yellow light, you're using Garrett Morgan's invention. Every time a firefighter enters a burning building wearing a gas mask, they're protected by his genius. His safety hood evolved into the equipment that saves lives in industrial accidents, mining disasters, and chemical spills worldwide. In 1991, nearly 30 years after his death, Cleveland finally honors the hero they ignored. Garrett Morgan is inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. Schools bear his name. Statues commemorate his achievements. Garrett Morgan called himself the Black Edison. But unlike Edison, history tried to forget him. Not because his inventions weren't revolutionary, not because his contributions weren't life-saving, but because his skin was the wrong color in the wrong century. Yet his legacy endures. In every traffic light, in every gas mask, in every life saved by his inventions, and in the inspiration he provides to inventors who refuse to let barriers stop their genius. He was born the son of slaves and died a millionaire inventor whose creations protect millions. He was denied recognition in life, but achieved immortality through impact. He was a man who turned obstacles into opportunities and racism into resolve. Garrett Morgan, the hidden hero, who saved the world one invention at a time. The Black Edison. Hidden hero no more.